Good afternoon, Cross Timbers. Today is November 24th, 2015. This is Texan TV news from Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas, and I'm Mark Smith. In today's headlines, students and faculty weigh in on a campus carry, an Erath County judge indicted former EMT, Cubans are using a new way to escape their home country, and the Patriots look to keep their undefeated season alive. In campus news, Tarleton students, faculty, and staff are getting their voices heard in whether or not campus carry is a good or a bad idea. In a survey conducted on SurveyMonkey by students of Texan News Service, 42% of students on campus said that they would not trust their fellow peers in the classroom. One participant was quoted saying that it definitely makes me feel less safe. Having more convenient to use instruments of death around does not make one more safe when one is already very secure from the outside world. It just creates more opportunities for unfortunate accidents. In regional news, the Stephenville Empire-Tribune reports that an Erath County grand jury indicted Cody Miller, a former EMT, who is facing 2 assault charges. The Empire-Tribune reports that Miller, who suffers from PTSD and severe depression, was indicted Friday on counts of aggravated assault charges against a public servant. He was arrested in his Morgan Mill home in September after shooting at a deputy sheriff and state trooper who were responding to the 911 call. Several weeks ago, Miller sent a letter to the newspaper talking about what transpired that day and later gave a jailhouse interview. Miller said he wasn't trying to hurt anyone. He had been a volunteer firefighter and volunteer EMT for Cross Timbers' emergency response team since he was 16. He said his financial woes and everyday stresses are what pushed him to the brink of suicide. Trooper B.J. Hill, who responded to Miller's home after he sent a text to a dispatcher that he was suicidal. After a brief standoff, Trooper Hill and Miller's fiancée reached him on his cell phone and convinced him to surrender. He was quickly taken to custody and booked to the Erath County Jail, where he remains on a $700,000 bond. Miller is being represented by attorney Brady Pendleton, and District Attorney Alan Nash declined to comment on the indictment on Friday. In international news, technology and social media have helped many Cubans move to the United States. Cuban migrants have begun to purchase SIM cards, which they use in smartphones to navigate their way across Texas and California borders. We now go to the Associated Press for more on the story.
Theirs are the faces of an exodus. Some of the 45,000 Cuban migrants who this year will travel by bus, boat, taxi, and foot to reach the Texas and California borders. The 3,400-mile journey often touches 7 countries.
As soon as we entered into Colombia, we bought a SIM card, and from there we moved along, using it until La Miel. Then, when we crossed into Port Valdivia, where it wouldn't work because there wasn't a signal.
For Carlos Menes, his wife, and scores of Cubans, technology has helped them navigate some of the world's most dangerous territory, including Colombia, Honduras, and Mexico. Some migrants rely on human traffickers, paying upwards of $7,000 for safe passage. But not all Cubans. Key for them are smartphones.
You are able to tell people when they could be asked for money, at what time to arrive, to which hotel they should go, all those things, so they run less risk and have more security and peace.
Small, handheld lifelines. They've changed everything. An organized, well-funded, and increasingly successful effort. Cuban migrants have an advantage. Many countries grant them free passage. Cuba rarely answers requests for information. Still, they must navigate rivers, jungles, and gangs responsible for some of the world's highest homicide rates. In a series of public statements, Cuba has blamed U.S. immigration policies for the exodus, one of the largest since the 1980 Mariel boat lift. Cubans can stay in the U.S. if they reach U.S. soil. Many fear Congress may change that as U.S.-Cuba relations normalize. Ask their secret, getting past corrupt border guards, criminal gangs, and human traffickers. Almost all point to cheap smartphones, data plans, and Facebook.
That was one of the tips they gave us, to leave as soon as possible, to make progress more quickly and to get through this journey better. They told us the best buses to take. That was the key. The bus routes, the amount of money we had to give the police officers.
The exodus has caused a border crisis in Central America. Costa Rica has proposed a humanitarian corridor for Cubans. Several governments have called an emergency meeting. Alex Sands, The Associated Press.
For national news, here's the AP News Minute.
This is AP News Minute. Turkey confirms that it shot down a Russian warplane on Tuesday. Turkey claims the plane violated Turkish airspace and ignored warnings. Russia confirms that the plane crashed, but insists it only flew over Syria. Columbus, Ohio police say a 50-year-old man shot and killed a couple and their 7-year-old son in their home. Their 12-year-old daughter was wounded. Police killed the suspect. Police in Minneapolis say 5 people were shot around midnight. The shooting happened close to where demonstrators are camped out, protesting the recent fatal police shooting of a black man. And Japan's Aerospace Exploration Agency launched a rocket on Tuesday. It's carrying a Canadian communications satellite into space. Shirley Smith, The Associated Press, with AP News Minute.
In sports news, last night the New England Patriots defeated the Buffalo Bills to keep the undefeated season alive. According to NFL.com, Tom Brady completed 20 of 39 passes for 277 yards and 1 touchdown, and James White recorded his first 2 NFL touchdowns. Turnovers were key in the Patriots' win, and controversial officiating on both sides of the ball made this a head-scratcher for anyone watching the game. The Patriots look to keep the streak alive as they take on the Broncos next week. And now for today's weather from the National Weather Service. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 62 degrees and a low of 57 degrees. There will be a southwest wind of 10 to 15 miles per hour. Today's broadcast was produced by Renee Warner, Caitlin Shaw, Austin Farrar, and Jordan Palmer. Don't forget to tell your friends about us and become a fan of Texan TV News on Facebook. I'm Mark Smith. Tune in tomorrow for the latest news from Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas.